Hey guys, so today I'm going to be teaching you how to make some of these display stands. Because of my last video where I was doing the X-Wing mods, some of you wanted to know how I did them, and this will be a tutorial on how to make them, mainly the X-Wing one, but I'll also show you one for if you have the 20th anniversary Slave 1 set, but it's basically that kind of stand. And another quick stand to note, not really a brick built one, but for my first order Star Destroyer, you can see it has this floating effect, and that's simply done by using some transparent pieces there, some darker transparent pieces. So if you have a Star Destroyer build and you kind of want to give it this nice floating effect, because it just really looks quite cool, then I definitely recommend doing that. So yeah, that one's probably the easiest stand to make, and yeah, I'm sure it also works on a lot of smaller sets, obviously, but it just makes like big looming sets look so cool, and if it's bigger then probably use multiple of them, but this is kind of doing fine on one. So yeah, let's get to the main stands here. Okay, so starting off with the Slave 1 one, because this is the one that you kind of only use for this set, and maybe a few other sets, but it's mainly for this one, so it's quite an exclusive stand for this one. And because one of the main problems with the set is that it can't stand up on its own, and if you're displaying it, you definitely want to stand it up in its flight mode. So if we turn around, obviously there's the handle on the set, so it's kind of built into that actually, but I've made it so that you can easily take it off. So I've done this thing, and if you take that bit out, it kind of falls off, and then you can take those bits out. That's kind of how it's attached. You could also do it in a stronger way by just putting that piece on the other side, but yeah, it kind of just builds down through that way and kind of just extends the handle bit, using some more of those same Technic pieces to a downward stand which holds it up. So yeah, this is maybe not the best design, but it definitely holds it up quite well. Still quite wobbly, but it does work. It's kind of harder on the carpet, but it does work very well, and I definitely recommend using this if you are going to try and display your Slave 1. So you can kind of see here how it's made. I use those pieces there because it kind of has a good kind of foothold there. I've used that for both the stands, but it's kind of just built around in a block there, which is then attached to these, which are attached on there. So yeah, I think, yeah, you can do this in many ways. I've also got that bit there that kind of goes in there so that it holds up more, and I think you'll recognize that piece probably, so you can use that. But yeah, let's move on from the Slave 1 stand to the X-Wing one, which you can use on multiple sets. Here's the stand I am currently using on my X-Wing, but it'll kind of work for most TIE fighters, most notably the smaller one I'd say from this year, but it wouldn't look that great on here. So I've used it on Kylo Ren's TIE Silencer and kind of those bigger Starfighters, as well as I've got an extension I'll show you, but kind of Starfighters that aren't like smaller Jedi ones or Jedi Interceptors for instance. And you could use multiple, I'd say, and use my extension bit to use on bigger sets, but I don't think it can handle heaps of weight, so I wouldn't be attaching Star Destroyers or Millennium Falcons and stuff to it. So I'd say medium-sized sets work the best, like these X-Wings and probably Y-Wings, B-Wings and stuff, as well as some TIE Fighters. So those kind of Starfighters is what this is made for, but it kind of also has that angle bit, so you can either lean it like that or that. It's not strong, so it can't really go like that in the middle, it'll just way down to one side, but it works. And you can, if it's a balanceable set like this, like most of the sets you'll probably be using on this, it will just balance there fine, but if you kind of knock it, it will probably fall down. So yeah, you can mod that however you want, but it kind of just attaches on there through the bricks and stuff. I'll try to pull this off. That just came off with the other bottom of the X-Wing, so I'll reattach that. But yeah, this is a pretty good stand, I'd say. So here it is. So yeah, you can obviously that bit moves, and I've also got a bit to secure it, which I'll show you soon with the extension, but it attaches to these pieces which attach down to those Technic things, and I'll show you how they're attached because they are very sturdy. It's quite hard to actually get them out because of how sturdy they are, and because they're kind of attached to that Technic block. But I'll just pull some stuff away and show you how that's done now. Okay, so if you look in here, it's kind of one longish Technic axle there, which goes through there and really holds it in tight, so that's not going to fall off anytime soon or go to the side. And you can see there it's also attached to this grey base piece, which has lots of Technic holes in there. So yeah, it's very useful. If you want to take it out, I'd say push, like if you want to break it for anything, just kind of use a brick separator or something, push that through, then take those off, and then you should be able to just pull that to the side, this whole thing to the side, that'll come off and you'll be able to do whatever. But I'll also show you the extension because that is a pretty good part. That will mean it can kind of handle bigger sets. Still not a lot of weight, but definitely bigger sets it'll work for. Here is what you'll get for the extension. Obviously you can extend it a bit more using some own things, but I've just replaced, so before it had that bit in place between those parts there, but now I've got this longer beam which is then attached again through that, and then I've put that piece which was there just there to make it look a bit better. So then you can kind of hold a bit more, and obviously this comes off. There's a nice way to fix it, so I kind of just got this weird building thing, so you can really use anything to hold it there, but I kind of just put mine there, and then it will hold it in place. Obviously that might come off, so you might want to attach that bit there to something to hold it on, and then you'd kind of be set. It wouldn't break on you, so I'd definitely recommend doing that. But that's kind of the extension bit, and that definitely holds larger sets. Like this is what I used to hold my Kylo Ren's TIE Fighter, which worked very well. So for slightly bigger ones, but probably not still like Star Destroyers and stuff, like if you got two of these, put them like that, I bet they could probably hold a Star Destroyer. Like, I'm not sure, but if you also did that kind of bracing thing that I just suggested, and had two of these, that would probably hold up a Star Destroyer. So yeah, I definitely recommend doing that. And this stand is very helpful. So if you're trying to make, if you've just got a set and you're trying to display it in a good way, for instance the X-Wing here, which looks a lot better with its S4s out, and the Slave one, which obviously doesn't really look good in its landing mode, still does look good, but I think you'll always want to display it standing up, which the set can't do on its own. So yeah, that's just my mock for LEGO Star Wars set stands. Obviously you could also use it for other LEGO sets, but it's kind of designed for some LEGO Star Wars sets. So yeah, I'd just recommend that. So yeah, however that will be of today. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you used this design. Please remember to like and subscribe. That'll be all folks. Goodbye.